is not what you know, it's what you can prove.
You know how to cut to the core of me, Baxter. You're so wise. But like a miniature Buddha, covered in hair.
I want to become a guru so girls will like me. Then I will like myself.
Now, before we do this, let's go over the ground rules. Rule number 1. No touching of the hair or face.
Of course.
And that's it! Now let's do this!
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Golf Guru Show. I am Jason Sutton, and I am the Guru. This is officially the last day of 2020, and I know that it's been a very difficult year for a lot of you out there, and I want to say, first off, thank you so much for supporting the podcast. The DMs, the emails, the text messages of, the hard work that I've done has not gone unnoticed. I mean, I'm sort of riffing here, but I just want to say how grateful I am for all of you that listen to this. I started this project a few years ago and really had no aspirations of anybody listening. So it's very rewarding with the fact that it's gotten so popular, and I can't tell you how thankful I am for all of you out there listening. So keep the DMs coming. They do mean a lot. They kind of keep me going, and they definitely keep me motivated. So this podcast to end the year, which I think is crazy to think that all the guests that I've had on this season, and if you haven't heard the last two with Butch Harmon and Kevin Kirk, are two of my favorites personally and have been two of the most popular. Go back and listen to them. But this one's kind of special to me because it includes my son Nicholas Sutton and Bryce Beeler, one of his teammates at Tennessee Tech, came to stay at the house for a couple of days and work with me, which is a huge honor. He's a super talented kid, great kid. So we just had an impromptu idea of like sitting down and let's chop it up, right? As I do a lot of times, which I think sometimes is the best stuff. So this is a podcast that's really full of things that could be valuable to junior golfers that want to play college golf. You get Bryce's story, you get some insight from a couple of Division I college athletes of sort of their daily lives. We talk a lot about what they go through, how their mindset is to get better. And then at the end, there's a lot of really kind of funny moments where we talk about the music that we listen to. As all of you know that follow me, that I listen to old school rap and then trying to get into new school rap. But so we talk a lot about music. We talk, there's a whole host of topics here that could be valuable to a lot of you. So I hope you enjoy it. And again, Happy New Year to everyone. 2021 is going to be epic, and looking forward to connecting with all of you as I have big goals and aspirations, just like all of you being high performers that listen to the show. So let's crush it in 2021, and I hope you enjoy this episode with Bryce Beeler and Nicholas Sutton. All right, So I'm going to officially welcome Bryce Beeler to the show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
AKA Brucey
Bruce,
boy.
Brucey. Yeah. Nick Sutton joining us as well as a veteran of the show.
Yes, sir.
This is like your fourth time on the program. But
I'm a regular.
I thought, it's kind of customary, right? If you visit Casa Guru,
you have to hop on the pod.
Like Bryce has done this weekend, you got to hop on the pod, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So welcome. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming through.
Oh yeah, always. We don't flake over here.
So take us back to the beginning, man. That's like a customary question that we ask everybody on the show, but let's dig into your past. Let's dig into your junior golf career and also sort of how you got into golf. So take us back to the beginning.
Okay, so we'll start probably about 9 years old. My granddad, who was a member at the course I play at, Green Meadow Country Club, shout out GMCC, the Green Ghetto.
The Green Ghetto.
He's been playing golf his whole life, and so when I was about 9 or 10, he used to kind of take me out there, and I hated it. I could not stand golf. I thought it was the most boring sport ever. I played every other sport I could get my hands on other than golf. But as we kind of went through probably 2 years later. I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I started playing like on Sundays with my dad and my granddad. My dad's not very good. Shout out Brian. But yeah, so I got out there, every week or so, and I started to enjoy it, and it came to the point where I just wanted to do it every day. And so we get to about 15 or 16.
So what do you think attracted you to it early on? Like, what do you think? We call that kind of ignition, when you got that spark, or like, all right, I feel like I need to go. I want to go without somebody telling me I need to go.
I would say TV had a lot to do with that. Like watching it on TV, because that's what my dad would do, my granddad would do, and so I saw it.
Saw the pros.
So the pros definitely, and just seeing like other kids my age when my granddad would take me out to the course would play a huge factor in that. So that's what kind of ignited it, I guess. And so I got pretty serious about it. Probably 14 to 15, had a little setback there, as we talked about. Age 15, broke the femur. We won't get into how that happened. We'll leave that out. Why
not?
Well, because, it was just a rough situation all around.
Okay.
It happened at the golf course, we'll say that.
Yeah.
We'll leave it to the people to kind of think about that.
All right.
But, so yeah, took about a year off, basically, not by choice. And that's when I decided, I wanted to do it as, a college athlete.
I was going to say, when was you feel like you wanted to do it, and then feel like you had the talent to play college golf?
I wanted to do it probably when I came back, because I had the itch. When you're out for that long, you just start to really, really miss it. And I was like, that's what I want to do, because I knew people at my high school were going to play college golf, and so that was more of a goal that was set. But I wasn't sure that I had the talent to do it until my senior year.
Oh, really? Okay, so kind of late.
Real late.
Okay.
Which, and that's just from, because, you can have talent, I guess, and not get results.
Absolutely.
But I hadn't seen anything. And so my junior year, I was kind of getting recruited by some schools, but I was I still was kind of not confident that I could actually do it, because I wasn't shooting good scores when the coaches were watching me or recruiting me. It was just kind of a rough time there. But then I guess senior year of high school, in between junior, senior year, summer, and then my actual high school season is when I was okay.
Was there a tournament or did you have a win that sort of gave you a breakthrough, or any moment where you're just all right, I feel like I belong and I can?
I don't think there was an exact moment. Maybe, okay, so I played in the Scott Stallings, the AJGA, Scott Stallings at Oak Ridge.
Oak Ridge, yeah.
And going into the last round, I think I was T3 maybe. And I had the lead in the second round at one point.
I think Nick was in this tournament, weren't you?
This is 2017.
This would be you're 1 year behind, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I wasn't sure that I had the talent yet, but I was I'm still trusting it, working hard. And so I looked up at the leaderboard, which was a huge mistake. I was 11 holes into my second round. I'm 5 under on the day, 6 under, 7 under for the tournament, and I'm at the top of the leaderboard. I was oh god. I started freaking out. And so I had a 4 putt and a 3 putt.
Oh god.
And then I still shot under par, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So but then after that tournament I was okay, because there were coaches watching me. I think Coach Brown was there, a couple other schools, and I was okay, I can do this, because I was playing with kids. I was playing with a kid who ended up at Tennessee.
Russell?
No, Spencer Cross.
Oh yeah, he's in the lineup.
Yeah, good player. But yeah, I think that's when I kind of realized okay, I could compete with these guys. They're not that much better.
Right.
So that's the story of Bruce right there.
Yeah.
All right,
the golf story.
So take us to college, and how did tell us about your recruiting process? Did you have any other avenues, or how did you end up at Tennessee Tech?
So I had a couple other avenues, none of which were there were a couple big schools in there that came in late, kind of later than everybody else, and so because I got good kind of late, and so I was talking to some bigger schools, And then there were obviously some schools, smaller. Like I remember there was a D3 school in Georgia, I think Berry College.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, Barry.
And they had some real good facilities. I was like, wow, this is kind of new. I didn't expect that. So that caught me off guard. So I had a couple offers, and I just decided, like I'd always told myself since I was like believed that I was good enough and set that goal that I wanted it to be D1. It wasn't like D1 or bust, but that was like what I wanted. And so I had a few D1 offers, but none of which were like proximity to home was kind of
You can drop it. I mean, tell us who it is. Like,
okay, so
you're in school, bro. You're good.
I know. So I had Missouri late. Missouri and Xavier were late.
Okay.
And it was down to me and another kid, and the other kid took it, and then Missouri, I believe, changed coaches, and I think the other kid still took that offer. So it kind of left me, with like Tennessee Tech, some D2 schools,
gotcha,
and some other options there.
Yeah.
But I ended up choosing Tennessee Tech just because it was closer to home, not too close, but just enough to where I could like have my own separate life.
So tell us where you're from.
I'm from Maryville, Tennessee, not Merville.
What's that close to? Like,
right outside of Knoxville.
Okay, I was going to say close to Knoxville, right?
Right.
Yeah. All right. So why Tech?
Proximity to home. When I got there, I liked the coaches. I didn't go on an official visit. I did not go on an official visit.
Really?
I just that wasn't something that I was like, let's do it. Let's go. And so I didn't really know anybody going in. I had talked to both the kids coming in with me, I think, a little bit, but that really wasn't like a huge factor. It was, good academics. My mom liked it. Mom, I was gonna listen to Mama sometimes.
Yeah.
And so that's basically why I ended up choosing it. I mean, I'm glad I did. I think it's gonna work out for me.
Absolutely. I think you've done well.
Think Scott played a big factor?
I think it helped. Like you see somebody
big
who
name.
did that same path.
Yeah.
That you're going to try to do.
Right.
And they reached their goals.
And
so.
somewhat from like the same area and stuff.
Yeah, right. He's from Oak Ridge, which is not too far from me.
Yeah. So ultimately, I mean, both of you guys can answer this, but I mean, ultimately, you want to play, right? I mean, it's like, I'm not sure any Division I athlete goes into college and doesn't want to play professional golf.
I mean, depends on where you're at.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, yeah. I mean, I'm sure that might be a mixed message, but I mean, you guys are driven. I've spent some time with you, and we'll get into that because I mean, Bryce is in, and we've worked together a little bit this weekend. So tell the listeners sort of, because this is one of the questions that I get. Me and Nick talked about this on the last podcast that won't be aired, but like how COVID has changed your mindset, and then like, do you feel like it's been a positive or a negative?
So I think mindset wise, there for a bit I kind of struggled. I'll admit it was kind of like, because they canceled tournaments and then you're like, well, what do you have to play for?
Right, motivations is a factor.
But then, and I talked to Coach about this. I was like, I'm just not feeling it. Like we're just out here playing. I mean, and it's. And our qualifying situation is a little different, obviously, because we have nothing to do. So you try to give the players something to be motivated for, but it still just wasn't the same for me. And so I kind of struggled with it. Like early on, I was fine. When they first canceled it, I was like, all right, I'll go home. We'll get to work. I'll play with some of my buddies. Practice all day, every day. And then I think you run into kind of a wall where it's been so long since we've played. You got to play in some competitive tournaments over the summer, which was nice. Mm-hmm. But everything's still different. You got your mask. You can't go certain places. And I think mindset-wise, I think it helped me because it gives you a new perspective. Mm-hmm. Like what's important and what's not. And I think it teaches you to almost be thankful for the way life was before.
Right.
So if we ever get back to that point, you don't take it for granted anymore.
I think that's a great point. Yeah.
So I think that's one thing. And then I think that it's probably helped me, honestly, because and I'm not gonna name drop, but I know of some people, complain a lot about like getting tested and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of Nick and I's friends are athletes and at other schools and whatever, and you hear about getting tested 3 days a week and being in a bubble. And we weren't really in like a bubble per se, but more than obviously like your average student.
Right.
But like it just kind of teaches you what's really important. And I think it was just a time to really get better, especially mentally, because I was, we talked about it. Like I've struggled with the mental side of things for a while. Used to be a little bit of a
the temper
hothead on the course, just to get after it.
Not just on the course.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, in general.
So Nick, welcome back. We were just talking about like how COVID and that, as we talk about all the time, is obstacles can breed different mindsets from people, right? You can either go a negative way or you can go a positive way. And I know you had talked about on the previous podcast how COVID has been a positive for you.
Yeah.
So talk about that a little bit. How would you describe how that's changed your mindset, maybe your goals?
Yeah. I mean, I told you or in the last podcast I don't think it's been aired. It's probably if it's aired, it'll be later on down the road.
Yes.
I tried to, and I've always tried to take the positives out of things that some people may think are negative, or things that really we have no control over. And it almost like just made me appreciate things a little more.
That's what Bryce just said.
Yeah, on the lines of like, I guess just like learning how to like catch a vibe by like yourself and not have to be, because I'm a very social person and I love obviously being like with people at all times, but like with COVID you kind of couldn't be with people especially early on. I mean, when we went to school and stuff, we were with our team and stuff like that, but like early on you kind of have to like figure out like what's like how you can get into a routine like by yourself without like having the outside world and stuff like that. But I think like he said, mentally, like it's like it's not like obviously like my games has gotten like better throughout quarantine and all that stuff.
I agree.
But like more so like mentally, like I feel like I'm like so much better in the head than I was before it. And like I guess it's like almost made me like mature.
Right. It's almost like thinking about a long-term approach versus short-term.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think it's easy for us to think short-term, which is great, because you guys, like you said, you're looking for the motivation of like playing in the next tournament or playing your next event.
I mean, it's
right, and then you lose sight of like, all right, what's the end goal? Right, the end goal is to make the tour, like be the best person or the best player you can be at the end of college.
But the thing is, like our coaches always like preach like we all have to be together and we all have to hold each other accountable. But like, it almost brings us like closer through like the tough times, and we're all hungry to get out there and play. We haven't played a college event in it's pretty close to a year now, but like we're all like our first tournament's in February, and we're like all just itching to play because we just know how good we are, and we didn't really. It sucked for us because last year we didn't get the pre-results like at all, but like I said, we're just, and we kind of had like a teaser in our first tournament of spring last year.
Yeah.
First time you guys have kind of had the
we all kind of like
strongest team healthy, right?
Healthy and kind of like had like little signs of peaking. So
that was fresh off the injury bug for me, wasn't it?
Right. So talk about that. Like I know you've had a lot of ups and downs. Nick's talked about it on his past podcasts of adversity, and I think in the grand scheme of things, when you guys look at the end of your story, it's like the adversity times, like those down times, are what really teaches you the lessons that are they're going to make you better. So how did you deal with? Talk about what you went through with your injury and how you came out of it, because you had some great stories about Coach Smith helping you.
Yeah. So I think we'll start with adversity. I think that the people that handle adversity the best are the ones that have faced it a lot. And it's not like you face adversity one time and you're automatically good at it. Right. I don't think anybody – obviously there's some people who may be a little better at it to start, of handling it and being able to get through it. But I think I was one of the ones that did not – I didn't handle it very well. And so I guess it started with the femur injury when I was 15. Didn't handle that very well. I still think about it sometimes. It still makes me I get pretty hot thinking about it. So the wrist injury was, nobody's fault really. And like I said,
Well, describe it. Like, go into detail.
So I had a cyst. It was a wrist injury. I had a cyst that was
on your lead wrist.
Well, at first
Yeah.
you thought it was just
Left hand. He's right-handed, so it's the left hand.
Yeah, it's my left hand.
but you thought it was just one cyst.
I thought it was just one cyst, and so they tried all kinds of things. I was out for a while. We'd just gotten back from St. Louis, and it was really bothering me in St. Louis to the point where I was just not like trying to hit the ground. So I was basically picking it. Which the ball goes straight when you pick it, but it's hard to control it distance wise. And so I kind of was like, all right, I can't do this anymore. It got to the point where it bothered me.
told Coach Smith, right?
I told Coach Smith on
What's wild is we finished second
in that tournament.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
And you weren't even at your best.
yeah, and I'm not one to I don't want to say anything beforehand. That I feel like that
Props
just kind of
props for like not letting anybody know too.
Like,
Right,
nobody had I didn't have a clue. Nobody had
Yeah.
a clue.
right.
Yeah.
I just feel like that was just best.
Yeah.
I'm not one to really go out and be like, oh, I'm hurt, blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see the point in that. When it's said and done, and you go, when it's really bothering you to the point, then you say something. And I was also kind of wanting to just go away, so that's why I didn't really want to
You thought
address
maybe
it
it'd
early.
get better, right?
Yeah. And so I told Coach Smith on the 17th hole, there's a par 3, a little into the wind in St. Louis, I believe. It's 195 maybe. Remember that hole? Right before the par 5? Because I started on 1 the last day. At Gateway National.
Yeah.
17, the par 3.
Yeah, kind of down the hill.
Yeah, and it always plays kind of into you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good hole, and I hit it, and I was kind of frustrated already that day, and Coach Smith had been kind of walking with me, and that story's been told. The St. Louis story's been told.
She's on her podcast, by the way.
Yeah, little did she know I was going through it. I was going through the ringer that week, and she didn't know yet, but it's all right. It worked.
Yeah.
What she said worked. But I told her, and she was really caught off guard, and I was kind of nervous because I didn't know what was going to happen. So we got back, and I went through I went to a hand specialist, and he
They didn't know at all for a while.
yeah, they weren't sure. I had an MRI, and they saw it. They knew what it was, but they couldn't figure out why it was hurting me so bad because they only thought it was one cyst, and so they tried to drain it, and the swelling just went up almost, hurt worse. So then we went back to him, and he was like, "Yeah, we'll have to take it out and drain some other stuff."
Do you think if they would have found it early on that you could have probably played the last?
Well, the second cyst they found was in the joint capsule, so they couldn't have gotten to it without opening my wrist up and doing what they did. But it was a smooth surgery. The recovery was, it wasn't too long. It was kind of painful to just sit there and watch everybody practice and play, and all I could do was putt one-handed, chip one-handed, which I did with Coach Smith a lot. We did chipping contests and putting. But I think it humbles you a little bit because it's you're not untouchable, even as a D1 athlete.
Right.
You can still, and you see guys get hurt and it ruins their career. So, it humbles you, kind of gives you perspective, kind of like COVID.
Yeah.
Kind of the same deal. You're not getting
How
to play.
grateful are you now, to be back playing?
Very grateful.
Yeah.
It was a huge.
Yeah, but that kind of leads into when you first came back,
Yeah.
because you had to qualify. We all
I
had
to qualify when I first
we
came
did.
back.
When we came back last spring, we did five rounds, and it was leaderboard wise, it was the top 4 get in, and then one coach's pick.
Right. And so
that's for anyone that's stressful. Qualifying's not fun, obviously.
yeah, I think it's part of it. I try not to get too caught up in it. I still do sometimes, because sometimes it's not in your hands what goes on
Right.
or whatever. Especially with COVID. But to the injury part, I came back and I just wasn't. I was excited to be back, but my expectations were too high when I came back, which we
yeah.
talked about.
Yeah,
and
we
high
talked about that the other
expectations
night.
can
Yeah.
just destroy a player.
Sure.
And it destroyed me for probably about 2 or 3 weeks, right at the beginning, when you say,
Yeah.
you knew.
I was actually with Bryce the night before the first qualifier, and I think Joe, our trainer or our PT guy, he called you and said, "Hey, you're good to go tomorrow."
Yeah, we didn't know that I was good to play.
Mm.
So Bryce really didn't know that he had a chance to play in the first event.
Yeah.
Because he didn't know if he was going to be able to play in the first qualifier.
Right.
Because he didn't know if he was going to be
So
cured
yeah,
or whatever.
very uncertain at that time. Yeah.
But I remember him calling you.
Yeah. He called me and he just told me, because I'd been going to him and doing some wrist like motions with little weights and stuff, and they would I think it's called an ultrasound. They'd rub gel in there to break up the scar tissue.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of just rehabbing it back, and I couldn't really lift weights or anything, just right-handed stuff. So my right side was pretty strong. My left side was just like there. But he called me and was like, "Yeah, you can play." And so I was pretty thrilled about it.
But he told you had to talk to coach before.
Yeah, I had to tell him.
So I remember sitting in Bryce's apartment, and he called coach and was like, "Hey, like I remember like phone call."
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Like you're good to go. But he hadn't played a full round of golf in however long. So
It's been a while.
You were like sketched out.
I guess. So St. Louis is early on, so that's when I first was out. I was out that next week.
Yeah.
We got back. That's in September. At the very end of September,
Yeah.
right? And I didn't come back to play. That would have been the next semester.
Yeah. No, it was. Yeah, it was.
So that's
It was our first
pretty
because
long
it
time.
was. I'm trying to think where our first qualifier was.
Because I know my surgery didn't end up happening till.
It was Chattanooga.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we went and played in Chattanooga.
It was Bear Chase.
Yeah.
And I shot 75.
Yeah.
Fresh out of the. And I was leading.
Yeah.
It was like fresh out of the thing.
Yeah. I remember that. It was. Yeah, I remember that.
I just scraped
That was
it
wild.
around.
That was.
But,
We might have. Did we play together?
yeah, we played with Cade. Was it me, you, and Cade?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But so I guess I was out. My surgery was in November, so it took them very beginning of October to figure it out, and then obviously when you schedule surgery, it doesn't just happen right away. Sometimes, depending on what it is, and so it'd been a while. Came out first qualifier, everything was good. There wasn't really much rust, which was kind of interesting.
I was gonna say, how sharp were you? Felt pretty good.
I was mentally sharp.
Yeah.
Like I was like refreshed.
That's where the expectation and
yeah. We're like, oh, I can do this. I'm back in it. Let's go.
Yeah.
And obviously, as you kind of get back, you haven't played in months, so your game is not actually as sharp as you're expecting it to be. And that kind of caught up with me in the next few qualifiers. And I started getting angry again. Which Coach Smith and Coach Brown and I had those talks my freshman year. Which I had a pretty successful freshman year, but I still knew that if I wanted to get where I needed to be, the mental game had to.
Emotionally, you had to get better.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I had done that. I was pretty good about it. St. Louis and Eastern Kentucky, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was in a good spot, but I was also hiding something almost. Like, oh, I'm hurt, but like, I'm not going to tell anybody. Because it sounds like an excuse almost.
Right.
And so we'd had talks about improving mentally and all that, and I was like, I thought I'd be all right. And I came back, and I really started to struggle. I wasn't making many birdies. I was just shooting like a couple over par, and it started to piss me off a little bit. And I started getting back to things that I used to do in high school. Like, I threw a golf ball like into the woods.
I remember that. I think Coach Smith rip you for that too.
Yeah, she did. And she should have. I was just in a bad spot in the head, really, is what it came down to. You do some things that you don't, you're not proud of or that you wouldn't normally do.
Right.
And I also think another thing that's important is nobody has the same attitude or mindset as you mentally. And so if you start to kind of hear things and kind of be like, you kind of like act like like certain people do sometimes. And I think that can really not look good, and it can really hurt your game. So I think it was more about getting back to, okay, this is who I want to be. This is who I am as a person. Just start throwing stuff and cussing, it's like, wow, nobody's gonna view you as like a good person.
Yeah.
Maybe not like a bad person, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Just like,
no, it's like, you think that your golf game is who you are.
Right.
A lot of times.
Right.
So what is there any like tips or tactics or things you told yourself to like change that mindset? Because that's not easy to change. That's like changing your personality. Right.
And so and Coach Smith has been a huge help.
She's
to
so
me
good
mentally.
about
Oh
that.
yeah. Really good. Knows a lot. And we talked about trusting the process, which you hear a lot about, and I don't think people actually understand what that is.
Sure.
And because
what's that mean to you?
Trusting the process is obviously the time you put in. You're doing it for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, for me, and obviously it's quality over quantity, but like if you're putting in the quality time every day, getting what you wanting to get out of it, eventually it's going to work out for you. So I think that was really what kind of flipped the mindset, was getting away from result or oriented to being more process oriented.
I like it. Yeah.
And I still struggle with it. I mean, it's not like you just switch it off.
We call that the bank account. Like the more practice you put in, the more good shots, you're basically investing in your bank account. And then when you're on the course, you just take withdrawals. Right. You're just kind of because you trust what you've done, and that's the only way you can trust it is you've done it before.
Yeah, I mean, you get out what you put in.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a true statement. You may not see it immediately, which is another thing. Like just believing that. I mean, it's basically belief in yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think golf is kind of like a selfish game a little bit. You got to go get yours.
Yeah,
and it's great to be on a team, and it comes together. I feel like, and I think I told Nick this. I was like, golf isn't necessarily you can hold each other accountable to some extent, but I think that if everybody takes care of themselves and is good, like mentally as well as, getting the physical work that they need, and everybody does that, it comes together at the end. And I think those are what your best teams you see, like your Power 5, like your Texas, all those guys, they focus on themselves.
Yeah, they want to beat the brakes off each other.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. And then they get into tournaments, and here they are at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah,
because
it's such a blend, right? I mean, that's why team golf is so interesting.
You told me a story a long time ago about them. I don't remember who told you.
Yeah,
but you were just saying they're all obviously like competing to be at the next level.
Yeah, and
they just the way they like they're obviously friends, but when they're on the golf course, like it's not like, oh, we're just like teammates, but like they want to beat everybody.
Yeah, they didn't like each other very much.
Right.
Actually.
Yeah.
But you get 5 or 6 really good players that all know they're going to be on the tour.
Yeah.
And they're kind of doing their own thing, and you put it together, they're going to be successful.
Right.
I think
that brings chemistry too.
It does. But I mean, you guys, that's what I was saying. It's such a blend because you kind of need to, right? You got to take care of you.
Right.
But then you also there's opportunities in the cracks where you can push each other.
Right.
So it's got to be a little, you have to be a little bit selfish, but also you can't be like
all about you.
An asshole to the rest of the team,
right?
And like separate yourself because now that's going to hurt the squad.
Right.
So it's got to be a little bit of both.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think that's important. I just think, like I said, if everybody does what they're supposed to do, and you're friends off the golf course, you can be friends on the golf course. I'm not saying
yeah.
Oh wow, I'm going to kill you today, like talking smack. It's just if people see you taking care of what you're doing and they see it pay off, then that's what they're going to want to do. At least most of the time.
Leading by example.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Exactly.
See, because I'm not a very vocal person. I know, Coach. Well, it depends. I can be vocal depending on the situation, but when it comes to that kind of stuff, I tend to be more to myself about like leadership and stuff, and it's like a silent leader almost.
Yeah. Lead by example, lead by action.
Yeah.
Not getting caught up in too much drama type of situation, right? So let's talk about things you're doing outside of golf that might be helping your golf, right? So like especially over COVID, I know you guys are in the gym, you guys are working out. Like what are some of the extracurricular activities aside from the ones we can't discuss on the pod that you think are helping you get to the next level?
Obviously getting in the gym.
Yeah, gym's huge.
And you're not trying to get like...
I guess just like getting, like just trying to be there for each other in a way. Like Like, obviously, we have our bubble and stuff that we kind of mesh with. I mean, Bryce is the exact same way as me when it comes to, like, hanging out with other athletes. So, like, I love to surround myself around, like, other people who are successful that, like, quite honestly, like, that don't do what I do. Like, I like to go and hang out with basketball and football and guys and a little bit of baseball and, like, guys who are, like, successful in a different sport. Because, like, for me, like, I've always been, like, if I'm not on the golf course, I don't really, like to talk about golf. Like, it's kind of like my away time. But, like, when you're, like, surrounded by people who are, like, kind of in the same boat athlete-wise and, like, have the same, like, goals and strive to be, like, the best at what they do, you can kind of, like, help each other out to be, like, to get to where that is. So, like, that's, like, he's the same way when it comes to, like, trying to get to that point.
Right.
We've probably hung out with a few basketball guys.
Yeah, basketball, baseball,
Football. I've got a pretty good friend group football-wise from the dorms freshman year. And then you still, like, you've got a few guys that you went to high school with that, like, Bear.
Yeah. I mean, he's not playing any sports, but
Yeah.
it's almost good to just get away because, you know, some days you'll leave the course and it's like you just took a 3-hour test and your brain's just fried.
Sure.
Which is good. I kind of enjoy it. I kind of enjoy when I leave and I'm like fried because I know that I got something out of that day. I know that I got better because if your brain is training, like our lesson day, like, and you that's what I wanted. Like that's
so that's a good segue. What talk the listeners through your experience this week working with me.
So
you learned.
I came in looking for the why.
Here you go. We talked about that. Yeah.
The why is very important to me. I'm very I need answers. Kind of it's like a checklist, like we talked about.
Yeah.
You want a checklist, check things off, and then you're comfortable, and it gives you confidence. Is basically what it's doing.
Yes.
And so I came in and I was really struggling putting, especially. I was really I was down bad. I was down bad with the putt.
The boys were down bad.
The boys were down bad.
And you know, I never had like real guidance with the putter. I kind of just, you know, I'd had a few lessons here and there, nothing that goes into the why. I knew like some of the basics. And so I came in looking for answers and somebody to break it down to me. And so I guess that was the first day we worked on it, and it was kind of different than what I was expecting. I was expecting mechanics, and the first thing we did was go look at patterns and how I read a green. Not very good, by the way.
Very, very, very bad.
It's getting better. It's better now. It's better now.
Yeah.
And so I think that was kind of like I really liked to see that. That really was encouraging because I was like, man, I'm making some putts and I have no idea how I'm making them. So if I know why, that is what gives you confidence as a player, at least for me.
Yeah. No, you're not alone.
And so, you know, and to not work on mechanics right away and be like, okay, if I can read this putt right, but the stroke doesn't have to be perfect. I can still, if I'm thinking the correct way, I wasn't thinking the correct way, and it was more of like a mental thing for me.
Yeah, more concept, right?
Right.
Like picture, concept. We've worked a lot on that.
And patterns. What your tendencies
exactly.
are.
What your biases are, what your tendencies are, yeah.
Which we kind of had an idea, but we weren't. There were some misleading things in there that we thought.
Yeah.
So that was really huge to me, and it was really a good learning experience for me. And I'll be back. We'll be back doing it again.
Yeah.
And then we worked on swing, and I consider myself a pretty good ball striker. I think I've got some good moves, I guess, of a good ball striker. But there was some face control stuff that I wanted to kind of get nailed down, and I was looking for some answers as to why I wasn't always having as much control over the face. And I never really talked about how the feet work in the swing, which was another good eye-opener for me.
Yeah, so we worked on a lot of footwork, lower body stuff that got your pivot going and
helps the club face be
more stable. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We worked on takeaway, which is very simple. Like you see a lot of guys on tour just rehearse a takeaway right before.
But it's understanding why we did that, right? Because you were loading. We would say we're loading 3 for those golfing machine guys out there. We were basically closing the face early.
Yeah.
Which caused you to have a little bit more difficult time controlling it through impact. So
Right.
the way we started taking the club away, got the face a bit more square-ish, whatever you want to call it, and the wrist angles changed at the top, and then we added some body pivot stuff that
Deliver the club.
deliver the club better. Yeah.
Right.
So it's kind of like I always call it basically like as coaches we're sort of like a detective, right? We're just sort of we know the problem. It's like let's figure out who was the culprit.
Right. And we went back to the very beginning and broke it down.
That's right. The very beginning and broke it down. And that's kind of like with putting. So from my perspective, right? So you gave your sort of take on the putting. Is I would describe your putting as, again, you're an exceptional athlete, but you had a lot of conflict in sort of what you were trying to do, right? So a lot of things were, when you're trying to do one thing and then you got something else you're trying to do and they actually sort of collide, that's a problem.
It's a recipe.
And when
for
you don't
disaster.
know that, then you don't know why things aren't working.
Right.
So a lot of times, when you putt well, it probably was ball location or, again, timing was good, or you're seeing, like I said, you're almost willing it in.
Yeah,
As you say, like
which
good players are going to figure out how to make some putts, but we're looking at the big picture and the long term project
in order to get where you want to go.
Exactly. So you got to be, I hate to use the word consistent, but more repeatable, day to day, to where again, even if you putted poorly, you would at least have an idea why.
Right.
And that's sort of what we focused on. So it was figuring out that, as we talk a lot about the picture stuff, reading the green, like you would miss a lot of stuff low and like short and low in a lot of the tests because I think you weren't sure. And then when I'd actually give you the correct answer, you'd miss it very high because the picture looked a little bit, the break looked a little bit more than what the picture really
was showing.
It was showing, yes.
And I think we talked about, when you're putting good, at least for me, I'm banging. They're banging in the back of the cup.
Yeah, you're aggressive.
So that's taken a lot of questions out for me.
Yes.
So, but then when it's not there, if I know what I'm doing, I break down the putt and the read, then that gives you that confidence almost back. Because you're going to have hot streaks, cold streaks.
That's right.
Whatever, everybody does.
Yeah.
But if you walk off the green knowing why you putted bad, which we've been told, Nick and I have been told a good story about that. We won't get into details there.
Yeah.
But
so then you're going into mechanics, like we did some mechanics, like it wasn't like we didn't do any mechanics. We actually changed some stuff. Was your posture was affecting the path of your stroke. So you had one of the straightest putting strokes I've ever seen.
Right.
Which is not always good because then you have very limited face rotation and you'd always close the face through impact and you pull it. It typically lends itself to an out the end stroke with a shut face, which is not a good combination.
Right.
I got you a little farther from the ball and actually got your hands a little bit more underneath your shoulders as opposed to inside your shoulder line. And we worked a lot with the Visio and then showing some just basic some visuals and some concepts of what's the stroke supposed to look like and then how does it feel. And adding a little bit more arc, added some face rotation. We went from like 2 degrees of face rotation to like 12.
Right.
Total face rotation, which was amazing. And you started delivering the putter into the ball a little bit more squarely.
Right.
Which, now right to left and left to right putts are going to be a little bit more easier. And it's like, again, working backwards. Like if we can start it online, your touch was pretty darn good. Like it was probably the best part of your
definitely
your program. But I think now it's going to be even better now the fact that you can actually see the picture and have some confidence you can deliver it online.
I think it's something new to work on instead of just going to the green and slapping down an alignment stick and being like, oh, I'm taking it outside. Like, now I know why I was taking it outside. Right. It wasn't really because that's, like, the alignment stick was there. I could take it inside for that period of time, but I was set up incorrectly.
Exactly.
So we know the mechanics are good, so you can trust that. And then you have drills to read greens, and eventually it will become, like, second nature.
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot more I'm going to show you. That was just the beginning.
That's just the beginning.
Yeah, but it like gets you pushed in the right direction to move it. And then full swing wise, we worked on, like you said, takeaway to get the face less shut, less lead wrist flexion at like P2, P3.
Right.
And then probably, I guess, more laid off-ish or more on plane, however you want to describe it, which got the face a little bit more square. And then worked hard on your pivot to where you could open up a little bit more with your torso, and then
Get
it's harder.
Get Scooby snacks.
Squam.
Yeah, we got squammed out a little bit.
Getting squammed out of
And
Scooby.
it made it really, really difficult for you to hit it left, which is
Right,
your
which is
main
what I
goal.
hate.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is your main goal. Like, again, going back to, I was just working off of like what you wanted to see,
Right.
and I agreed with. Because you've got crazy speed. Dude, you're like swinging
Right.
at 122 with your driver. Like you can afford to hit that little tour fade.
Right. I just think that was stuff that I knew was important. I didn't know exactly what, but I knew that stuff was important because you can see it in everybody that's, big names today, like your JT's, who's my favorite player. I love looking at JT's swing. Even Tiger, DJ, I think has some crazy good lower body action.
Yep.
And obviously he's lanky and that's why he hits it far, but his lower body's really good. And then you got Wolf, who's taken from the Scoob Meister over there.
Yeah.
The
GG.
The Cali boy.
The Cali boy. But yeah, I think that's all stuff that I knew was important. I just wasn't sure how to exactly do it. And I'm very feel oriented. So once I get a feel, we just took it. Nick and I literally took it straight to the course and it was just like striped.
There you go.
And so
that
it was
makes
just
me
right
feel
there.
good. Yeah. So
see, which is different. And that's another mindset thing. Like I used to get a lesson and I would just freak out. Like I'd feel good, but I'd go to the range and have to work on it for hours. And now it's like you know when to turn it on and off. Like you said, you go into a tournament, you turn it off. Like you've been working on it, you trust it.
there you
So
go.
you can just take it to the course, get the feel. You can have one feel. I always go off one feel for tournaments. And when I'm playing, even when I'm just playing for fun, I have a feel, one feel.
Absolutely. Everybody does. Yeah.
Right.
That's great.
So if I have that one feel and I know why I'm doing it and what it's doing and how it's going to affect my ball flight basically and the control of the face, then I'm going to be confident.
There you go.
It's a good week. Good week at the Guru Casa.
There you go.
We've had a good time. That's for sure. We always do.
So talk a little bit about Nick. We haven't talked to you enough here about.
This ain't my podcast.
I don't know, but, well,
You're here though. You got to talk.
We need to.
We're good. The boys are good.
Boys are good.
we're just sitting back and just enjoying the scenery and.
But I feel
letting it fly.
But I think we forget because we talked about this in the last podcast that probably won't be aired, in the vault, about sort of what we've worked on really in the last 3 or 4 months, and then over the summer, like really starting with.
Yeah. Well, we
before True Blue, right? And then when you kind of broke out a little bit there. And
talk
about that a little bit.
So like back to kind of like the COVID thing. We obviously used the COVID thing because I was playing fine, but it wasn't like it was almost kind of like smoke and mirrors.
Yes.
Like obviously we weren't in a spot where we felt like we were consistent enough to play at the highest level. So we were like, you've spent hours and hours of like just dissecting my swing, obviously my whole life, but we kind of took COVID as like a time for us to dig deep and figure out, all right, what has to happen in order for us to continue to get better and move forward. And I've never been the longest hitter, and we were just kind of trying to figure out what we had to do to get to that point. So, honestly, we were grinding.
Yeah, we grinded.
We spent hours and hours on the driving range just trying to figure out what worked and what didn't. And we did a lot of like weight distribution stuff. I remember messing with that board a little bit.
The Sheptic board. Shout out to Sheptic.
We did a lot of work with that.
Mm-hmm.
Just more so of like pivot stuff. Like
a lot of pivot stuff. Yeah. Tell us your perspective, and then I'll tell from a teacher's perspective. I can give a little bit more technicality for it. But I feel like we made a big breakthrough.
Yeah. So early on in my not early on in my junior career, but just like early on in high school, I used to be a big slider. Like I would slide going back, like my hips would slide. Didn't have much hip turn. And the club was a little bit outside, kind of laid off, but I always was really flexible with my arms. Not so much with like my hamstrings have always been really bad. Like they're always tight, which obviously leads into your lower back. And so just as it just kept going on and on and on, and then we would go like in the summers we'd go like 3 weeks on the road where we're playing tournament golf, competitive golf, under the gun, nonstop. And it just takes a strain on your body. And I was just like, I remember, it might have been sophomore year of high school, my lower left, I used to have a little bit of lower left back problems.
Mm-hmm.
And it started a little early. I was just like, who knows? It could just be me growing. I had no idea. I didn't really think much of it.
Now he knows it was your golf swing.
It was my golf swing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it got to the point where I was like, God, if I don't fix this, or if we don't fix this, then it's not really that much fun to sit there and play golf and just be in pain consistently, like, nonstop. So we figured that out, and that was early on hip turn stuff, but like we kind of put a Band-Aid over it and didn't do much, and then when quarantine happened, that's when we really kind of, I guess, changed it. And then that's what's weird is like all of quarantine, and then into my fall semester this past year, my swing used to change so much. We fought going back and forth between like, if I got to swing more right to hit a draw, or if I'm swinging too far left, I got to start, like, it was just, it was a sliding scale at all times for us. And what was wild is just the fact that like I got in the gym so much during quarantine, and then during the fall with Bryce, obviously, and just like I felt like it never changed. It was always the same thing. Like if I was hitting a bat, it was the same thing,
right? Which
you can play with, why, and then you can roll with that. So like ball striking has been really, really good for me recently.
Let me jump in there and talk, like, from my perspective, like let me give him the technical from a teacher's side of what we did, right? So as he said, coming up through high school, he would, you can kind of get a picture of this, slide his hips a lot to the right.
Yeah.
Big arm lift.
I had a little reverse C on my left. I guess if you're looking at it face on.
Yeah, it was like a very, very big, a lot of left tilt.
If you're looking at it face on, it'd be on my right side, but it was my left side if you're the player.
Yeah.
Had a little reverse C because obviously I was sliding back.
Yeah.
And then with the long swing, then you're obviously putting strain on it.
Right. So he had a super long hand path. And I kind of left it alone because he was so tiny. Yeah. He needed kind of that longer backswing to hit it far, but it was putting a lot of stress on his body.
If you think about it, when I was younger, that's kind of how I that's how I got my speed.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
I never had it looked like I had a lot of speed, but I didn't really have any speed, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it looked faster.
But it was a reverse routed though.
Yeah, for sure.
It was like I would like reverse reroute, and it was just not consistent, not good.
Yeah, because he would drop his hands way to the inside, and slide his hips, but he kept his hips back pretty well, so he had some room. But it was just so contrived, and there was a lot. There was a lot of moving parts. Right?
Yeah, there was a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. So you think about what would be the opposite of that. So I've always worked on his right hip, like trail hip moving backwards, which kept his spine a little less tilty to the left, but never really worked on his upper body, right? So so fast forward to like the beginning of this year, I'm like, we got to fix this, and I know how now. Actually, spending time with Dana Dahlquist really helped me to understand sort of the centers and Scott Calx and a lot of stuff that I'd learned. I'm like, this makes total sense. That I know we need left tilt, we need a lot of extension, but you just had overdone it.
Yeah.
So basically, we worked on right hip going back, and literally your chest. I felt like
my chest was like if you were to lay down on the ground, I would lay down on my feet line.
Yes.
When I if you have an alignment stick towards your target, I would literally feel like my chest was like parallel to that alignment stick.
Absolutely. Like basically for the listeners, and as he's taking it away, he's literally staying in forward flexion as he turns longer. All the stuff that we probably not teach the average golfer to do. But it got his spine basically stacked on top of his pelvis.
But the hardest thing about that was, like, early on, like there was absolutely no way I could overdo it early on. Yeah. But we grinded on it so much that then when I went under the gun, I almost started overdoing it.
Yeah.
To the point where I had so much we were calling it right side bend.
Yeah.
And I'm not like I said earlier, I'm not the long, I don't hit it. I'm very average. Distance-wise, I'm very average. Before then, I was very short. Mm-hmm. But I can't afford to sit there and hit cuts and cuts and cuts.
No,
I can't be hitting
280 cut. We kind of went through your last year and a half of high school hitting cuts just to keep it in play.
Yeah.
And then by the time you got to college, I'm like, we've got to learn to hit it farther again. But but again, your
but
body changed.
I'm talking about like during quarantine, like when we first went back.
Oh yeah.
Like we nailed on it, and I almost overworked during quarantine to the point where I had flipped to the other side and I had too much right side bend that my hands were shooting out, the club head was shooting out to the right, and I would either hit a massive block or me being an athlete would try and save it.
I knew that was going to happen. I mean, I knew It was just the fact that like now it's like again working in that reverse order.
So I had to. I overdid it a little bit.
No,
under the gun.
You didn't overdo the backswing.
No.
It's just it
I'm
changed
saying
the downswing.
The downswing was messing with it.
Yeah.
And then we were like, okay, the feeling that I have to have is almost like I've got to hit like a low cut.
Mm-hmm.
Being on stage, feel like I was, we would call it centered.
Yes.
Feel like I was covering the ball.
Yes.
And hitting a low cut. So we went further like another 2-month stage where I'm hitting a low cut or trying to hit a cut, and then I was like, dude, I can't hit this like literally like spinny wipey cut. Like it's not going anywhere. It's obviously in play, but it's just not like it's not where it needs to be. So then I really don't know what we did to get it to the other side.
No, I explained to you that the entire club doesn't need to go to the right, but the handle needs to go left and the face needs to go right.
Yeah.
We talked about the body pivot.
But it was weird.
And
so
and
I'm starting and
neutralize the pass a little bit.
This entire fall is when I started. I've hit it. This is the best I've ever hit it. And then recently I've started kind of getting like I can feel like my path is getting a little right when I'm hitting on my bad days. I mean my bad days aren't bad much. Like I'm starting to hit. I mean when I decade I don't miss but 3 greens, 4 greens, maybe 5 greens if it's like a bad day, which is good. But like recently it's more so like if I do get too far out, we work on the leg action because I'm an early extending jumper and like you said my left leg locks up.
The right leg locks up.
So my right leg locks up.
Yeah.
So, but when I go after it hard, like I'm like okay I'm gonna hit this one hard, then it's like twice the amount of it.
Sure.
So when now I'm starting to learn like okay if I want to hit it hard I'm going to use the ground a little more.
Yeah. So
I feel
talk about it because after I was working with Bryce, you're watching the lesson.
So my swing speed, it's been weird. So when I got in the gym a lot in junior year of high school, my swing speed got up to like 108, which was kind of good for me. And then we were close to 110, and we were like, dude, we can't control the face with this. So then we went back down. It was down the cruising like 103, which is really really bad. And then, but we were like just trying to get it in play.
Right.
And then. It went back up. It was cruising like 104, 105, maybe 106, like 5, 6 area. And then obviously I got in the gym over quarantine, got it up to like cruising at 108. And then literally 2 days ago or yesterday, I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, when I was working with Bryce.
When we were working with Bryce, it kind of clicked for me, and I was like, damn, let's mess around and see what we can get it. And I don't know what happened, but I mean, it went up to like almost 112.
Yeah.
And I like literally was like stiff as a board. So we were just like, wow, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you why. You want to know why? Because Guru is goated. He's goated.
But it was just like, it was just weird because I was like I couldn't, like, I just couldn't do that before. So it's just like,
well, for
but my body's working a lot better now.
100%. Like I always tell everybody, like the swing that we were kind of working on when you were a junior in high school, you just didn't have the body to do it.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Right,
like
so
I did.
We're kind of fooling around trying to figure out how to get it in the hole.
We were.
Now you kind of have the body where you're working towards you have more strength, more stability.
Yeah, but we did so many TPI screenings and we tried so hard to figure out like why I could not be like why we couldn't support it at the top of the swing.
Yeah.
To the point where like it
was
was not going past parallel, and we just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
We had no idea. I mean, it's not necessarily on you. I wasn't strong enough.
No, but obviously I didn't trust the fact that you could like go into forward bend. You know, the move that I taught you, the DD move, that really changed the whole deal.
Yeah.
I didn't let you left
for a minute there,
so
dude. We had a little station going.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
like every time I go to the range, bro, I'd set up this little box.
Yeah.
And was just rolling with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like that's
I what it takes, right? I mean, like
I send you a few videos of it
for the listeners out there. Like it's not. We didn't go on the golf course. This is like we needed to block practice this thing.
No, like literally, like I'm not gonna lie to you. I probably would hit I hit balls for like 4 hours a day, nonstop. Like I'd bring like 4 bottles of water out there and would just grind. And it's like I don't like it. Like that's not fun.
Yeah,
that's mentally draining.
Yeah,
you get bored.
Those are the good days, though.
But you knew,
but you know you had to do it. Like
yeah.
And that's the thing is like my chipping has always been kind of the worst part of my game. Well, we're going to work on it after Christmas and stuff.
Well, we've already improved your wedges.
Yeah,
we get your part wedges.
My wedges are on the way back. But the thing is, my wedges we were trying to like feel like my upper body had to cover it, and I started swinging left, and then wedges started getting steep and like outside and just not kind of wipey. Ball was rolling up the face.
Yeah.
So we kind of had to go back. Like last year, this time last year is when we slowly were starting to get the wedges like to where we wanted them.
Yeah.
And then going into our first event, the only event we played in the spring last year, my wedges were at literally like peak to the point where I was like, God, this is the best part of my game. And for me, if I said, I don't hit it very far, so it's like my wedge game has to be the best, and I got to be the smartest player in order to compete with the big guys. But now that I'm starting to hit it farther, if my wedge game was to the point where it was, then it starts to click, and then
it's getting ready to get real.
Yeah, so it's not far off, but there's still some grinding to do. And shout out James Ridgard, we're gonna get it right. Once James comes through and gets the wedge matrix, isn't that what it's called? The short game matrix going. It's gonna be filthy.
Yeah.
I kind of want to get into like season though.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
I know. I know we talked about it a couple. When I was
like
in
the upcoming season.
Yeah, this upcoming season.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's.
I want to talk about how slept on we are.
Hopefully, we have a spring season, right? Because I mean, it was a big disappointment, losing fall. But I mean, like you said, you guys were trending, and and I know you guys. I know your team very well, and I think you guys got loads of potential, and you have great chemistry, which I think you got all the components to compete and really make a run for conference, if not to regionals and the Natty. So what are your thoughts?
My honest opinion, I wouldn't sit here and say this if I didn't believe it.
Talk about who's in the conference. And
so yeah, Jacksonville State and UT Martin are the two teams that we've got to beat. That's just how it is.
Doesn't matter.
But the thing
OBC.
is like we have not been able to prove ourselves, which is fine. And that's the thing is like that's why we're so hungry to get out and play. I think it. Bryce knows it. We
don't think it, Guru.
We know.
We know. It's there. Look, here's the deal. It doesn't matter who's in the conference. Okay.
It doesn't matter who we're playing.
It doesn't matter who's on the team. It doesn't matter. We don't care how good you are. I would hope that the rest of our team agrees. I mean, that's kind of getting into our Nick and I's mindsets. What we talked about are pretty similar. And I think
that's why. I mean, me and this is a little off topic, but me and Bryce played the U.S. floorball qualifier, and we talked about it, and we were trying to figure out where we go. And we were like, we will play literally anybody in the country right now for whatever they want. And we didn't prove ourselves, which is what it comes back to. If you don't prove yourself, then it doesn't matter. But we missed the first alternate whatever by a shot, but didn't play well. Neither of us played well.
Yeah.
But it's just it's just a mindset thing where you just got we're all D1 golfers.
Dude, you got to take up space.
Take up space, exactly.
That we always talk about being believe you belong.
Right. Oh yeah,
act as if.
And that comes with, and we talked about result oriented.
Yeah.
But to be honest, knowing you belong is when you prove it. And I feel like there's several of us on the team that have proved that we belong. It's a matter of everybody on the team putting it together at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is peaking at the right point. And I don't like to get into that stuff because
it's not even like that though. It's just
it's just beat whoever you got to beat.
What sucks is the fact that we the only tournament we can revolve back to is the one in Myrtle Beach where we felt like each person, nobody peaked, but we had small little runs where we glimpsed.
Yeah.
And we were even our best player Will last year was his scores didn't even count, and he even said it himself. Shout out Will. He knew. He was like, dude, this is how it should be. I shouldn't have to ball out every week.
Right.
Which, I mean, he had an unbelievable fall last year.
He did.
And he probably felt like he was carrying because we didn't have our best lineups in. Bryce was hurt. Braxton was hurt. I mean, three of our best players were hurt, and it just felt like we Will felt like he had to carry. And obviously, me being a freshman had no idea what I was doing. I mean, I was out there doing the motions, it felt like.
Yeah.
And was just kind of I'm a freshman. I'm trying to do my best to contribute to the team. But, and that's why it's especially in the OVC, dude,
look, if you don't think you're the best, you're never going to get where you want to be.
Exactly.
I don't, and it sounds cocky, whatever. But you got to be cocky to be good a little bit in golf. And,
it's not even the cocky part. It's more of you just got to have the moxie.
Yeah.
You gotta have the swag. You gotta take up space. You gotta not what anyone thinks about you, and you You got to be the one that if you say something in the room, everyone listens to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great example of Bryce. Is like, Bryce is a man of few words, but if he says something, people are like, well, we're going to listen to what Bryce has to say. And it's the moxie that you have to have to be the greatest. I mean, there's so many. We've growing up, we had so many little things that we heard about DJ being like talking to his elementary school teachers, saying that like, money wise, like I'm gonna have my private jet and I'm gonna fly and come see you.
Well, everybody wants that, but not everybody wants to do what it takes to get that.
Yeah,
that's what separates your great players from your
average
good players.
Yeah.
I mean, and nothing's easy, and we're in no position to be like, oh, we're great now.
No, you guys are the underdog.
We literally still have not proven
guarantee
ourselves.
it. Yeah, UT Martin and Jacksonville State aren't scared of you guys.
No,
right
not at all. And
Well,
they shouldn't be.
And they shouldn't be because you haven't proved.
We haven't
anything.
proved.
That's what I told you. It's like you kept saying, "Oh, we should do this," and then I'm like, "Do it!" Like you
And
until
no,
you start.
it's a thing though. It's like we got to get everybody on board to know that, and I think everybody's getting on board to know that.
It comes together as a team, which is what we talked about. It's not that each individual is better.
Yeah.
Talk about. I mean, kind of go off from the conference area, but talk about. I mean, you had a pretty stellar summer.
Yeah,
I mean, you got after it over quarantine, and you like. I mean, and it showed. The results proved. I mean, you balled out this summer to an extent.
I had a decent summer, and I'm not gonna lie, I got a little burnt out. And
didn't even play in the state am.
I didn't play in my own state am, which is absolutely embarrassing.
And
it was kind of bad.
But it was like a week before school went back.
It was a week before school went back, and look, I needed that break.
But the thing is, we thought we were going to have.
We thought we were going to have a season, which is why I made that decision.
But but roll into what, because you've done it in the past where you were like, I feel like I shouldn't have played in it rolling into the season because you were like, felt like you're burnt out.
Yeah, I mean, every player does it. That's why we talked about earlier. Breaks are so important, and your best players take breaks. And when we were younger, we had the no days off mentality, which is true. But I think that more applies to when you're out there, you can still take a day off and be at the golf course.
Right.
Like if you don't go out there and do what you need to do and put in quality time, then it's a day off. And so I think that I was putting in so many days in a row and playing tournaments and just going through the grind because I knew like it's the bigger picture. Like if I'm ever going to get where I want to be, and I know Nick feels the same, like you got to put in the work and you got to know what you're doing. Which is why I came and saw you, Guru. So
but you got to be smart about it.
Yeah.
It's like you can't just sit like
you can't wear yourself out.
You can't wear yourself out, but you got to be working on. It's like, and that's the thing. Like I know people who have gone from high school to the tour, but it's like college is so good about like teaching you time management and teaching you like how to work efficiently.
Right.
Like, dude, you can go out to the golf course and work 9 hours a day of it.
Yeah.
But you can literally go to the golf course and hit balls for 2 hours and be more efficient than what it was beforehand. Like, it's just, you have to be efficient with your practice. You have to be in a routine. Literally, that's the biggest thing that I've learned in the 3 semesters that I've been at Tech is time management and how to schedule your day and build a routine.
Right.
Like, and that's what's like. I hate the off season. Can't stand the off season. Like right now, because I have to figure out my own routine, and I'm still young. I'm still like, I mean, like I'm mature. I feel like I'm mature for my age, but like I'm not mature to the point where I'm like I've got to figure out a routine for myself. Like I like being out. I like having 5:30 workouts and having a practice time and being able to schedule my day before the day happens.
Yeah, you've always been that way.
I'm the like I'll sit in bed at night and I'll be like, okay, what am I gonna do tomorrow? It's almost like I could write it in a diary.
Yeah.
What you want to do.
And check off how I do it.
It's scary.
I have to do it.
How
You should.
similar.
Like I have to do that.
Yeah.
In the off season for me, it's weird because it's like I've got like the 3 things I got to do. I try to eat right, I try to work out every day, and I try to play golf. And it's like, how can I fit that in with having a social life, being able like, which ties into having fun, and then being able to spend time with the family. And that's why I'm always on the go, nonstop. And I can't stand just like sitting on the couch and not doing shit all day. Like I've got to.
You got to always be moving.
Yeah, and it's just weird. But like at school, like you got like usually like I think we might have rolled into this our last podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna
like
say
a day in the life.
Yeah, give me the day in the life and what like.
I'll get a day in the life for me, and you get a day in the life for
all
you.
right, let's go.
Yeah.
You go first.
So I guess we'll do 2 separate topics. So I guess we'll do an off season and then an in season day in the life.
For me and you and a few others, like off season, like It doesn't exist. There isn't.
No, I
really.
know, but I mean, like, I'm saying,
I know
like,
what you're
if
saying.
we're-
Like,
if
there's
we're,
no
like,
collegiate
if we're like
tournaments.
traveling for an event.
He wants to mention like Mike Stud podcast and then yoga, hot yoga, and then
well,
meditation.
but no, okay. Let me get.
Right?
Let me get.
So
into
there's a lot of little moving parts
Right,
that we
right,
need
right.
to get into
Let-
here.
yeah, let me
that
get
I
into-
want to talk about.
Yeah. So
Okay.
So I'm gonna go quick through.
Give me the vibe.
through the two. So an off season one.
Give me the wave.
An off season wave. Okay. An off season vibe.
The
I'm gonna
vibe, baby.
the
The
off
boys
season
are
vibe.
vibing.
The day in the life for me for an off season guy would be. So I'm gonna try and hit those 3 barriers. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I like to have fun in the off season.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, it's just I like to catch the vibe with the boys. I mean, the boys are good at all times. Doesn't matter. I mean, they might be down bad at times, but they're always good. And then I like working out before I play golf because it kind of gets me going, but I don't like being fatigued when I play golf.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll wake up. I'll try and make like I've actually hopped on the creatine grind.
Me too.
To try and gain weight. Yeah, Bryce kind of got me on the creatine vibe.
Yeah, I don't like you.
Um,
You're trying to lose weight.
try and gain weight, try and gain muscle, more water.
The boys are small.
The boys are stupid small. So I usually wake up, make breakfast, go to the golf course, grind, and we did this a lot right before we came back to school. Go to the golf course, grind most of the day, get dinner, hit the gym for probably an hour, and try to make it as efficient as possible. Bryce has kind of got me into the point where like if we're trying to gain weight right now, like we're both kind of skinny, we're both like trying to put muscle on, kind of get those fast twitch muscles going.
The skinny boys are better at golf, and that's how it is. It's the facts. I don't care what anybody says.
But you can sit in the gym and just take 10 minutes between each thing. But like I'm saying, like work up a mini sweat, but get an efficient workout in every day, which is good. I mean, it just keeps you mobile, keeps you going, especially in the off season or extracurricular activities. But and then just for me, like I like listening to the podcast. I like learning from other people and just I guess catching a little vibe. But in the season, so that's off season, which is just fair. I mean it fluctuates, but like we like it's weird because it's like very limited time, but making sure that like when you go to the course and you're like, okay, I'm gonna be here for 2 hours. I'm going to try and fit 2 hours worth of actual like good work to where I feel like I got something out of it. I'm struggling here. So off for like in season, most of y'all know we'll leave before a tournament, whatever. Actually got this season coming up. Bryce isn't going to be really with us. I think he will be. He'll be hooked once it starts.
If you're about to say yoga,
Yeah. So we got the team doing yoga this semester. This kind of semester.
What?
I'm big. Okay, so I'm big into change. I feel like if you look at our past results and you're just like why keep doing the same things if it's not working? Like we got to have a little bit of change. I've got us doing a little bit of yoga.
well, here's the thing. The past results, you need change. So that's a team deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but as an individual, if your results are good and you know what you need to do to progress those results, why would you change what you were doing? That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Okay,
and that's where you're at too.
I'm in the same. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. But I'm like, for me, as like I'm obviously gonna like look at myself and help myself. But as a team, I want to help the team that feels like. I feel like if we're going, I mean, dude, if we're in a van for 10 hours and we get back and we've got a tournament, we leave for 4 days later.
Yeah, your body.
Like your body, you're fatigued, dude. 36 and 18. I didn't realize it.
Yeah, it is.
That's
hard.
not easy. On top of being stressed out, on top of having to do school, is not fun.
Yeah.
Like it's not easy, and being able to like somehow find me time, which is why I like hot yoga, because I can sit there and listen to my body, not worry about it, and sit there and stretch, know that I'm knocking out 3 or 4 things that I'm trying to check off. Like it's just I mean, whether you're on board or not, like
It can't hurt.
no. And you got to look at it, and I'm huge. You know the Elite 11 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yep.
I'm into that. I'm into I love quarterbacks. Like I love watching quarterbacks and like the way that they go throughout. It's not they're literally running their offense. Mm-hmm. They're in charge of so many people, and they're basically leader of the team. So for me, it's I watched a video of like Elite 11. They have the Elite 11, the best 11 quarterbacks. Usually it's like the top 11. So they break from 20, 21 or whatever to the top 11. They have them go to, like, they do hot yoga. And they feel like if Tua is doing hot yoga,
yeah.
like, I guarantee you there's a lot. The most successful people in the world are doing hot yoga. And I don't know. For me, I really enjoy it. I'm able to, and it's not for everybody. It'll never be for everybody. But I feel like I'm able to listen to my body and stretch and be able to put my body in a spot to where it's able to recover. Because I feel like, I don't know, I'm not a huge, like, I'm into that part of it. Recover. I feel like recovery is the biggest thing. Obviously,
it is.
I feel like I was kind of on the Whoop band early.
Yeah, how's the Whoop band helped you?
It like I said earlier, it helps me plan out my day.
Yeah.
If I wake up one day and I love my sleep, Bryce. I know you love your sleep too. Like,
yep.
For me, it's like it lets me know, okay, if I want to peak one day, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna go to bed at a certain time. I'm gonna wake up at a certain time. That way that I can get my done the following day. Mm-hmm. And I think it's so big, especially as a college student, because you just like, dude, it's hard to do school and everything. But like that's back to the yoga thing. Like, I feel like it's a good hour of your day, once a week, literally once a week. And I think Wednesdays are great for us because we play Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday is almost like a day off.
Should be like a decompress type of situation.
It'll and you've never been because you have no idea.
Yeah.
And I've tried to get
Bryce is not feeling it right now.
I've tried to get Bryce to go, and I understand why he doesn't. Like, some people aren't like that. I feel like the fact that we got the option to do it, and that it could be there's a potential that it could help us. I'm excited for the season. I know Bryce is. I know Bragg. I know everybody on the team's just stupid hungry to get after it. God. I'm what I'm most excited about, to be honest with you. I don't know if you get. I know you get little first tee jitters in some events. You used to be weird.
This is very important about me.
This is wild.
Don't necessarily feel nervous before every tournament, but I do indeed go to the bathroom at least 2 to 3 times before every round. It starts in the hotel room and once when I get to the course.
Yes, I've seen it. It's not fun. It happens.
I love it. It gets me in the mindset. It's something. It's a game day. It's just a game day routine for me.
But
once I'm done, I'm ready.
But what's wild about it is the AirPods are in at all times.
They are always in.
They're in at all times. You can't can't hear the water in the toilet. Just bump and nav.
Yeah.
Just bump and nav.
I was gonna say, what do you get? What's on your playlist, guys?
Look on my playlist.
Yeah, what's your
here's
pre-game golf playlist?
Pre-round playlist.
Rest in peace, Pop Smoke. Would have been goated, but those boys, they ran up on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pop Smoke is very good. But on my playlist for game days, I do listen to some Lil Uzi Vert. I think that I was on that in the Myrtle Beach tournament. But you've got your old hype songs. You got Drake, Trophies.
Ooh, Young Money.
Yeah, you've got that. And if I'm really trying to get into a
young boy,
into a killer mindset, that's what I was gonna say. NBA young boy.
If the boy's out for blood,
if I'm out for blood and I'm trying to kill you that day, I'm listening to NBA young boy, and you can kiss it. It's over. And so if you see me on the range at a tournament and you see me nod my head a little bit, young boy's in the mic, and you might as well not even show up to the first tee.
Oh my god,
it's over.
That's facts.
That's awesome.
That's facts.
But yeah, I go real silent on tournament days.
So AirPods on the warm up or no AirPods?
So are you going double or are you going one?
I usually go double. Especially if I'm alone. If I'm not with the team, sometimes I find it a little disrespectful to go 2. I know that it bothers some people, but it's
like somebody's talking to you. You can hear.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't played. I haven't been here that long. I haven't been in the team environment to the point where it's like clicking. But we've done a little bit. But me and Will first
shout out Will.
First semester.
Go.
Little Cheeto.
Little Cheeto.
Red Cheeto.
My
rapper.
That's my boy right there.
we would share an AirPod, so we would be on the same wave before each round.
Oh,
Yep.
So I would go.
That's interesting.
I would
We've
go
done
left.
that. We've done that.
We've done that. So I've gone. We usually do it in the gym, but I've done left ear, but he goes right, or vice versa. We're both on the same waves. So we're both like kind of catching the vibe before the round.
All right.
But we're still kind of like communicating with the team. And for me, it's weird because like I'm so versatile when it comes to music. Like I can literally listen to classic rock. Not a big classic rock guy. It's more so of like a.
You've been into like country lately, though.
Yeah. I've been on the Nashville wave a little bit.
Look,
It's weird.
Me and Bryce don't understand it.
No,
So I've been on the Nashville wave where it comes to country, and that's more so of like a. It just really depends on like the scenery. Like if you paint a picture for me, there's a different playlist for it. But if I'm in the gym, it's hard rap.
Yeah.
I mean, young boy, like just Gunna. I mean,
21.
anybody, 21,
21,
anybody,
baby. Shout out to 21.
Anybody who's gonna rep that, they get the max up, or anybody's
Yeah.
gonna help me get that last rep
Shout
up.
out to Metro Boomin.
Whoever it is, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
But
Metro Boone is goated when it comes to beats.
But if I'm sitting there up to no good, not like just kind of by myself, then it's gonna be. It could be a country vibe. It could be more on a. I mean, you just don't know.
Right.
It just depends.
Music. Listen, I want to say this, Guru. Music can get you through a lot of things,
Yes.
and so
yes, it can.
It really can.
one guy that I listened to, I forgot to say this, Rod Wave. The boy can sing.
He's fire.
We talked about this in the the podcast.
So
that will be a
Rod-
podcast.
So Rod Wave's good.
Like,
I will put out there. So my barber dog.
Shout out to that boy.
Shalon Coble. Literally, Shalon Coble is a dog. If you need a cut, hit the boy up. You know where to find him. He's a dog. He actually just put me on this dude named Murray. Morray.
Yeah, he sounds like Rod Wave. You show me.
Sounds just like Rod Wave.
Yeah, you should
He's
have
from
me.
Fayetteville, North Carolina, which is where Shalon is. But it's a North Carolina, more so like a support
Charlotte flow.
supporting the boys, I guess. He's good. I mean, he's not.
He's good.
Honestly,
He's
not,
really good.
He's not quite Rod Wave. I mean, Rod Wave's a different breed, but I'm just saying, like, if you need a new guy that you need to listen to,
I like it.
Morr.
Wasn't that supposed to be a day in the life?
Yeah, you hit it up.
You done?
I'm done. Yeah,
You sure? Did
really-
we even do a day in the
We
life?
haven't got it. He's like he did his. And
I went through. We kind of went off topic,
Give us
but-
yours.
So there's 2 day in the lives, right? We'll go in season.
This is when we're traveling.
So we're traveling. Day in the life.
What day is this?
We'll say this is like We'll say this is a Wednesday.
Okay, Wednesday. This is the day we get back from the tournament.
Or no, let's say this is a Friday.
Friday.
Right before we leave.
Right before we leave.
So a Friday. Love Fridays.
Or are we leaving on Sunday or Saturday or
We're
Sunday?
leaving Saturday.
We're leaving Saturday. Okay.
So let's just make it clear that practice, I'm not going to talk about practice, okay? Practice every day. Everybody practices every day if you want to be good, okay? We're D1 athletes. Practice is part of the process that we talked about, okay?
Okay.
All right, so Wednesday,
I think we're on the way.
Friday.
Friday. We're talking about Friday.
Yeah.
Alan Iverson.
Shout out AI.
AI.
Yeah. Okay. right.
So Friday, we're waking up workouts at 6 o'clock. So we're waking up at 5:30 or so. And I personally really enjoy workouts. I hated them my freshman year. I was small. And I'm still not very big. But what you all don't know is my senior year of high school, I was 6'2", 135 pounds.
Weighing in at 135 pounds.
Get that boy a sandwich.
Get the boy a milkshake.
Hey, get the boy a milk.
We are now up to, I've grown while I was in college, yes. We are now about 6'3.5", and we are up to 175.
Oh, you're big.
Let's go shine.
I'm big.
Creatine works.
Let's go.
Say?
Okay?
Say?
Okay? It's not that big, but we can get bigger. All right? So, anyways, working out. Huge deal. Show up to workouts. You know, it's a little chilly. In Cookville especially. It snows there all the time.
What are you pulling up in?
I'm pulling up in my hood. I always wear a hood in the morning. Okay? Most of the time you see
Hoodie,
me,
a boogie boy.
I've got the pants on, boy. And the hoodie.
Bruce. If you don't know Bruce, he's an SEC football player in a golfer's body.
For real. The mindset is different.
I mean, the mindset is just not the same. You can't make it up. He's pulling up in a hood. He's pulling up in the jumpsuit, sir. Just not messing around.
Yeah, I'm ready to work when we get there.
Out for blood, sir.
Out for blood. Don't get in the way.
Don't get in the way.
Okay, so anyway,
he'll push you away.
We'll go to workouts. Work out or go back. Try to eat. And I'll try to nap if I don't have class. Fridays usually don't have class.
Naps are huge, right?
Naps are very big.
Oh my
workouts.
God, I love naps.
So yeah, we'll take a nap. I think naps are very important. People think naps are wasting time. I think after a workout,
oh God, it's
recovery.
It's the best recovery.
It's recovery, and it's literally proven to be the best recovery that you can get.
Okay,
from
so
workout.
are you? The hardest thing for me is what I'm trying to figure out is so workouts at 5:30, you're done by 6:30. But same thing. If you don't, I mean, anything before 6 o'clock is the same.
Yeah.
But so say you don't have coaches got you practicing at 11.
Okay.
You don't have class
All right.
on a Friday, which most people
do not.
try to not. They
Right.
try to make sure athletes don't have classes on Fridays at deck. So you got workouts at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and you don't have practice till 11. Are you making breakfast after?
Depends.
Or are you making it after your nap?
That's a good question. So
It's
lot
hard
of times,
because if I don't make breakfast before my nap, I wake up starving. But if I make breakfast before, then it's harder for me to go to sleep.
so
it's just kind of one of those things.
it depends on what I'm feeling.
It's tough, bro.
It is.
It's
This is a conflict
Real
in
college
the
problems.
daily life.
It's hard, bro. It's hard.
Division I athlete problem.
Because I mean, if you stuff yourself with 6 eggs after a workout
Yeah,
and
I get it.
and a protein shake, then you're just like, damn,
You're full.
let's go to the golf course.
Yeah, you're
Right,
full.
right,
Or let's go do something.
Yeah.
But if you don't do anything after workouts, you're just still kind of like in your little daydream. After you're just like, damn, I just gotta get pumping. I'm gonna take a shower. I'm gonna go. If I get in bed, then you're just like, it's an instant knockout.
Yeah.
right.
And then you wake up and you're like, damn, I'm starving.
So yeah, I usually go to bed before.
Yeah, that's
to answer that question.
I've been doing that. That's what I've been doing.
And so I'll try to.
But I've
to get
tried
some
both.
breakfast.
I've tried both, and
There's not a win-win there.
There's not, no.
honestly.
because after workouts, all you want to do is eat.
But look, I mean, the workouts are great. So back to the day in the life. We go to the workouts. We figure out if we're gonna eat or sleep first. Naps are always included there. And then if I got any homework, I take care of it. If it's not already taken care of, I really like to get my stuff done early in the week. And I think when Friday rolls around, that's like practice day, especially before we leave for a tournament in season. So I'll go to the course and work. And at school, the hours put in are not quite as much as when I'm at home. So, and that's just because I've got school. And
Bryce is a lot like me when it comes to school. Like he worries a lot when he's got work due.
right.
I feel like I've learned that from you. I'm kind of a.
I mean, look, it's important because like if it doesn't work out, which I'd kill for it to work out. I want to make it big. That's what I want to do. There's no doubt in my mind that that's what I'm going to get to. But in the off chance that it doesn't work out, you got to have a backup plan. So the school is important.
Yeah. There you go.
While you're there.
Very
And
important.
look, I didn't take that seriously this past semester. I'm not going to go into detail.
Is that mama talking?
No, I did not go. Did not take it serious this past semester and I think that was part of COVID. And I'm not going to go into details about what happened, but I made a couple mistakes there.
That we all do. It's okay.
Ended up GPA was good. I bounced back from it. But I think that everything's like a learning experience when you're this age.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky enough to be like some of those guys like Spieth, you turn pro young, you skip school. That's what I'd
JT,
love. I'd love to do that. I really would. But it's your own path, so
Yeah.
I'll work it my own way and then figure it out from there. But I think that it's just the academics are important and the practice is always important. If you don't practice and you don't care to practice and go out there, and there's different ways of practice. Obviously, I've started to get in the mindset of playing a little more. I don't remember the last time I've hit balls for like more than an hour, maybe, because it's more about
We've been on a big wave where like
playing.
we
Playing
may
is
we
huge.
may go play, but we're not really playing in a way.
But do you ever like practice on the court?
On the course, that's what I was going to say.
That's what we're saying.
That's what I was going to
There's
say.
a big
we do a
difference,
lot
right?
of we do a lot of like.
That's a good question.
Like me and Bryce, like if we're gonna go out and play, we're gonna more than likely we're gonna probably hit.
I'm having range sessions on the tee boxes and stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
Just shot shaping, like
Yeah.
because on the range, like anybody can figure out how to hit it. If you sit there for 2 hours, anybody can figure out how to get it to go to a flag eventually.
Yeah,
And I don't feel like unless I'm working
Target
on a real
practice.
change,
Yeah.
like when I go to the course, like it's putting that feel into play and then figuring out what shot I'm trying to hit in order to like in a real setting.
So how do you know if you're getting better?
On the course, I know if I'm getting better if I'm hitting the shots that I'm thinking about before.
So if they're coming out the way you see them.
Right. If they're coming out the way I see them, I know I'm getting better.
What are some of the games you guys play at school?
Dr. Peppers are involved.
the games we play at school.
Yeah, what do you do
Okay.
like competition games?
Okay, so if we've got I guess so. If we've got if it's me, so it depends. It really depends. If it's a twosome, if it's just me and Bryce will do a little side game or whatever.
I mean, I know you and
Just
Chance are playing
so
games
me and-
during
me-
tournaments, which is
Me and,
funny.
me and Chance always we shout out Chance Taylor. Love you, bro. You're a dog, but you're the countryest dude I've ever met, and I love it.
Shout out Chance Taylor for
You
real.
guys, you guys
That's
are
my
playing.
guy.
Chance,
you guys
dude,
are playing the golf week.
Chance
and
is
you're, like,
Chance is a. Let's get this on the snap real quick before I say it. Shout out Chance Taylor. Chance, you're a dog, bro. Love you to death.
Look, Braxton Womack.
We're the complete opposite, but we mesh and we always have games going. Let's go.
Listen, Braxton
But,
Womack, I want you to hear
be
this.
on the record. He's Snapchatting as he's on the podcast.
Yeah. He needed to hear that. Braxton Womack, I needed you to hear this from me. I know you think you're the best ball striker that has ever walked the face of the planet, but I just want to tell you that if we're both on, I'm waxing that. You can't touch this.
but no,
That's going to push his car in the direction of Charlotte here. Real
Yeah.
quick.
If you don't come to Charlotte, you were the biggest flaker I've ever met.
facts. Hey, Braxton, maybe Womack. You better pull up to Charlotte. But back to what you were saying. Yeah, me and Chance always got a game going. It's just like it's just one of those things that we just kind of like. It's more so of like a friendship thing where we're like, okay, we're always going to compete against each other. Like it's all love, but it's just one of those things where we're going to compete against each other. So we'll play. Me and Chance, we always play 5 DPs a day, a hole or 5 DPs a hole.
Yeah.
No carryover.
Even in the midst of competition, it's
like
great.
whether it gets out of hand or not, like it just it always comes full circle, and it's just one of those things where like
You're in the top 10
Yeah.
at the True Blue, and
Yeah.
you're like going, what chance make on last hole?
yeah. I'm sitting T8. I'm sitting T8 at the Golf Week True Blue on the last hole.
You're
And
asking what he made.
I think I might have been up a little bit on Chance. Drilled him on the front side. Just absolutely drilled him. And Chance just turned it around. Apparently he was putting side saddle or something wild in the back nine. Just starts getting it going. I actually looked at the leaderboard. I think I needed to make birdie on the last to finish top 5.
Yes.
And I remember asking you walking up to the green. I said, "What did Chance make on the last one?" Chance is literally sitting up at the green, and he made par. And I had to get up and down on the last hole to win a little bit of money. But it was wild. It was fun. But we played 9-dot a lot. 9-dot's fun. Baseball. People call it baseball. It's 9-dot.
We do not play for money.
We don't play for money.
This is what you need to know. We do not play for money. We play for Dr. Peppers.
Either Dr. Peppers or food.
All right, so where do we want to go? Like, we need to switch topics.
All right, let's go to rap. Let's talk rap.
Let's talk rap
we
right
talked
now.
a little bit of rap.
Top three artists
Top 3
right now.
All right.
Guru, you go first.
You go first.
The entire history.
Hey, look. I bet I can guess your top 3.
Ooh, I like this.
Do it.
20, 21 Savage.
No, are we talking like the entire? I'm
talking
trying to
about-
get the time frame here.
Let's do.
I'm not stalling here.
Let's do.
I'm trying to get like we're talking about the history of rap. Like I'm an old school guy.
he's
I'm
a
an
big
old
old-
dude.
big
You are an old school guy.
Yeah, I'm like, were you talking about like 2000
What,
to 2020, like
old school.
2010?
Let's roll old school, and then we'll roll new school.
I mean, old school. It's like Eric B and Rakim. Eric.
Yeah.
I mean, Rakim is the man.
Biggie.
I like Biggie Smalls. I like.
Is that your top 3 though?
I mean, I don't know if I can get a top 3.
Dude, but he's
I don't know if I can get a top 3.
freaking goated, though.
I mean, I'm like Guru from Gangstar,
Yeah.
Black Thought from The Roots.
Black Thought.
Black Thought.
He's still going.
He's still going.
Him and Logic are not him and Logic. Him and Jeezy are fire.
I mean, there's so many, right? Like Q-Tip, Tribe Called Quest. I mean, I like that's like that's like
he's into lyric and
yeah
and spins, bro.
Yeah, I'm into actually people that have a thought,
Yeah.
and like have a rhyme. I'm not into like I can make like a producer can make somebody look really good or sound really good.
Yeah.
Which, man, I love 21 Savage, but I mean, we could go into modern stuff. But I mean, there's a lot of guys that I enjoy, but they're still not as good as the old guys.
So who
And you guys are looking at your phones. Like this is how we do. Like this is off the top of my dome, and you guys looking at your phones.
So who's the modern day?
Modern day. Oh, golly. Dave East.
Fire.
Ooh, fire.
Fire.
Yeah,
right?
that's good. That's a
Dave
good one.
East. Dave East is
Freaking fire, bro.
is good.
God, Dave East doesn't miss. I'm not lying.
I mean, Eminem, obviously, like he's sort of like middle. Like he's not old school, but he's kind of the middle.
He's not modern day though.
Yeah, he's not modern day. I mean,
You like the baby?
he's okay.
Shout out Charlotte.
He's okay. Yeah, he's from Charlotte.
704.
He's okay.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say he's not one. I'm really kind of into the hybrids, honestly.
He love A Boogie.
Like A Boogie with a hoodie, Travis Scott. I call these
loves
guys
it.
like guys that don't really
Loves
rap.
Travis Scott.
They don't really
Travis
they don't really
Scott's
rap. They kind of sing rap, and they have like the voice thingies going
Right.
on or whatever. I mean, these are things you enjoy listening to, but like I'm talking about if we're getting into the nuts and bolts of the craft, the modern day rappers are bullshit.
I agree.
Let's lay down the facts. They're bullshit.
I think that
Okay.
your modern day, you got J. Cole. He's real.
Yeah, J. Cole's yeah, Jermaine is not bad.
Who else would there be? There would be
So who are your top 3?
top 3 right now. Look,
I could guess him right now.
All right, guess him.
Nav.
He's not number 1, but he may be.
He's in your top 3.
Okay, all right, go ahead. Keep going.
Young boy.
Okay,
Lil Baby.
okay. All right.
I just guessed him. That's cake.
So here's the deal.
Cakewalk.
You're wrong.
Who did I miss?
I really young boy right now.
Is Rod Wave in your top 3?
Young boy is my number 2. Rod
Okay.
Wave is my number 1.
Wow,
Really?
Really?
Wow.
Are you
I
serious?
love Rod
that's
Wave.
bold.
I listen to Rod Wave
All right.
so much.
So I just pulled up because I'm gonna cheat and look at my phone like old school.
Wait. Let me see.
Huh? Why?
Look, Guru. I want everybody on this
All right,
podcast.
hey, everybody on this podcast, I'm going to Guru's.
I just went to the
Apple,
old school playlist.
I'm going to his Apple Replay.
Let me tell
His
you.
2020 Apple Replay,
Yeah.
which tells me his top 5 artists that he's listened to, and he doesn't even know it.
Okay,
Listen.
there you go.
You know who will love this? Everybody on here, if we're talking about old school. I feel like GG out west. He's old school. He needs to go listen to Hit 'Em Up, Tupac, and the Outlaws.
Dude, this dude is
All right,
literally.
so what did you find?
Wait a second.
All right.
But yeah,
I like
think-
this exercise. Hold on.
You're excited, aren't you?
Yeah,
you
I
don't
am.
know. You have no idea.
I know how it works. I just know I don't because I listen to a lot of. I mean, I've listened to a lot of music.
Here, put your thumb on your thing. About to find out here.
I listen to a lot of music, different kinds of music.
About to find out here in a
People
minute.
don't realize.
Here we go. We're about to find out.
All right.
About to find out what the top.
This is like based on what I've listened to.
The number 1 song,
Post Malone,
Act Now, Russ.
Russ. There you go. Yeah, Russ.
Okay. So
I forget half the stuff I
wow,
listen to.
wow.
What?
Wow. Okay.
Russ is
So
fire.
So the top 5 is Zig Ziglar.
Oh, that's like a personal growth.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jim Rohn.
Yeah, Jim, these are all personal.
Okay.
These are all lectures.
Okay.
There you go. That shows you what I'm listening to.
Okay.
Bread for the head, bro.
Yeah, bread
Okay,
for the head.
I'm not
sir.
listening to this
Okay,
crap.
So the number one rap is A Boogie.
There you go. A Boogie with a hoodie.
Second, Dave East.
There you go, Dave East.
Third, Beastie Boys.
Yep, there you go.
But
Facts.
if we're going rap, Russ is second.
Yeah.
Russ and Eminem are tied at second.
Okay.
Or third.
Okay.
6 Black.
Okay. Yeah, he pops up a lot. That's kind of like
The Front Bottoms.
yeah. That's more alternative.
Yeah. Post Malone.
Yeah.
Migos.
Yeah.
Logic.
Okay.
Tony Robbins. That's a different.
That's
another
another personal development.
Yeah. 21 Savage.
There you go. That kind of sums up my day.
It does. So
That's my workout right there. Huh?
the boys are good.
The boys are good.
I mean, that makes sense.
That's the blueprint for success right there, if you want to know.
Yeah.
But I got so many more. Like, I listen to a lot of stuff and I don't even like think about it. But like, you influenced me a lot, man. Like, you talk, I never knew about some of the guys. Like, you'll tell me some new artists and I'm like, okay, I'll check it out. But I always go back to the old school stuff, man. Like, and that's why I always try to get you to like look back at the history. If you're gonna be a fan of rap, then go listen to the documentary of where it started, right?
Yeah.
Go listen to where it began and get some history. It's important.
Facts.
Look, boys are good.
Boys are good. Hey,
865 to the 704.
all I'm going to say is don't sleep on the boys this semester. We're hungry early on. We might be a little rusty, but come conference time, and we're ready to go, Si.
All right. You want to leave anybody with anything?
Si.
I feel like we're rapping.
Wrap it.
Any parting shots before we
Hey.
wrap?
Parting shots. Look, hear me out. If you're not following me on all my socials, follow me. Golf Guru TV got me right this week. So if you haven't taken a lesson from him, go take one. I promise you won't regret it. Instagram, we got Bryce Beeler, no spaces, no caps. All right, just like I ain't capping on this interview.
Thanks.
right.
Thanks, Cat.
We got the Snapchat out here. We got Bryce, put 2 E's on the end. Beeler, no caps, no spaces again. All right. And if you're trying to see the Twitter over here, we got Bryce_Beeler, no spaces, no caps again, because I do not cap.
My social, you know where to find it. Word.
Word out.